And you're live here on the JoyNews channel. That was our coverage of the now daily briefings from the Information Ministry on COVID-19, the situation and the easing of restrictions as announced by President Akufo-Addo on Sunday. We had the Education Minister, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, breaking it down for us for all levels of education, from the GHS senior high school to the tertiary level. And just some highlights, if you missed anything there: foreign students will be allowed into the country. They'll have their passport details forwarded to the various institutions and onward to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who will ensure that they facilitate their movement into the country. They do not anticipate so many people because per the calculations, many of the foreign students were in the country and were taken care of by the universities before the lockdown. We also know that there will be an aggressive campaign to encourage students to go back to school. The Education Minister did say, especially for rural areas, and if you must have heard some parents say they wouldn't allow their children go back to school. Well, that assurance has been given that all will be done to make the school environment very safe, and for that matter, that campaign will be underway shortly. Now, schools will not be available for religious activities. You do know that in this country, some schools are used as churches, especially during the weekends, and for other religious activities. The minister says to avoid less contact and to also limit restrictions, the schools will not be available for religious activities during this period. It is also important to know that there'll be no visiting in senior high schools during the period. All students, final years, who will be in the boarding house preparing for their final year exam will not be allowed to receive visitors. Parents will not be allowed into the school as well. Also, for schools that run both day and boarding systems, the day students will be admitted into the school to help control movement. However, if the school is a completely day school, then what the authorities will do is to ensure that the strict adherence to the social distancing protocols, as well as the other protocols, hand washing and the use of sanitizers, among other things. The health experts have advised against facilitating or putting these students in a bus, because they say that will not help as far as COVID-19 is concerned. The GES, that's the Ghana Education Service, and the Ghana Health Service have aligned schools to various health facilities in the districts, and that is to ensure that in a case where you have a positive case, the patient or the person can be easily isolated, transferred, and taken care of, with contact tracing also happening almost immediately. Class sizes, we have been told, will be split to ensure social distancing as well. And so these are the major highlights. For JHS students, you'll be spending 11 weeks in school, and also the issue about daily testing, because we have some non-teaching staff who do not live in the school, and even for teachers, well, that will not happen because we are just being advised to adhere to the protocols. A case may be negative today, but we are told that that could change in the next minute, and so daily testing is not necessarily the way to go. But all students will get a set of face masks for free by the Ghana Education Service. Now, let's take you live to the Electoral Commission as Bernard Mona heads to the Electoral Commission to raise some issues as far as the limited voter registration exercise is concerned. You know that the EC has started a piloting today. We'll bring you more on that. My colleague Maxwell Abba has been out and about, but right now, Kwesi Parker Wilson joins me live from the Electoral Commission. Parker, what can you report from the headquarters of the EC?
Well, Ernest, we currently are at the Osu runabout, where Bernard Mona, chairman of the PNC, and some other supporters of the inter-party resistance against the new register are moving to the police CID headquarters. Okay. Now, because the chairman of the PNC, Bernard Mona, has been invited by the police to come and answer some questions of alleged threats against the Electoral Commission. And basically, in the words of Bernard Mona, that they want to disrupt the mass registration exercise with the reason that the Electoral Commission intends to disenfranchise over 10 million prospective voters in the upcoming election. Now, Bernard Mona himself is here, Arrest. Let me find out from him.
Yes, go ahead.
As he's going to the CID headquarters at the moment, what is he going to expect from the CID this morning, sir? What are you expecting from the CID since you've been invited, sir?
I don't know why they are inviting me, so I'm going to ask them why I have been invited. I'm sure that they will have to explain what will occasion an invitation to me, particularly when I spoke as eloquent as possible. I spoke in unblemished, in clear English, that if the Electoral Commission decides to go ahead the way they want to proceed, to evoke confusion at the registration centers.
And I read the CID invitation. That is the main reason why they're inviting you to answer questions about the disruption of the mass registration exercise.
I never use the word disrupt. I am very sensitive to my choice of English language. And I chose the word resist. And I'm resisting. By walking from my residence to the police station is part of the resistance towards the new voters register. And particularly that the Electoral Commission intends to exclude nearly 11 million people from the voters register. In my opinion, a subversion of the state.
And so you still stand by your words? You're not going to retract?
I will resist because the Constitution enjoins us to resist those who subvert the state.
No, but in your own words, you said you beat the EC. The EC will beat you. I mean, these are.
I said they will send people to beat us.
Right.
And if you send somebody to beat me, I will retaliate. I will give you a slap back if you slap me. Okay? And if you use anything which I feel will lead to my death, I will kill you before you kill me.
No, you're not showing any remorse.
I have no remorse to show because the Electoral Commission. I am telling you that if the Electoral Commission proceeds, so if the Electoral Commission doesn't proceed, will there be beatings? Will there be killings? There will be none. So caution the Electoral Commission, the institution that wants to bring about the chaos, because I don't see how the chief of Zini, who is the overlord of that area, who has no passport and has no Ghana card, will come and sit down and allow electoral office or officials to come and be registering people, and he himself is alien in his own community. You think that you can do your work in those communities? You can take me, but I'm telling you reality, that this will face you if you dare go ahead the way the Electoral Commission want to proceed. If that is why they are inviting me, I am ready to tell them that I said it.
And I'm ready for anything?
I have no doubt that you want me to repeat? If it's my life they want, I'll donate.
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you very much. So Bernard Mona is the chairman of the PNC and currently going to the Electoral Commission. And as you heard him, he's not going to retract his words. Now, I see some members here as well. I've seen the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Peter Otikona, here this morning as well. Sir, why are you here this morning? One who said that this gathering is illegal.
Well, I doubt if it's illegal. This is certainly what the Constitution bestowed on every citizen to express. And in our anthem, as it is said, that we should resist oppressors' rule. But today we are here standing in support with our comrade Bernard Mona, who leads the inter-party resistance against the new voter register. He has been invited for comments they claim are injurious to the peace of this country.
Right.
We think that is completely unfair, especially if you consider the things that he said. So we subscribe fully to the comments of Bernard Mona that if the Electoral Commission proceeds and they create chaos, and just like the Deputy Secretary of the MPP said, they attack anybody at the police station, we'll beat ourselves. When it comes to killing, we kill ourselves. And it's just as simple as that. When the Constitution of the Republic gives you the right for self-defense. So I don't know whether the police are thinking that the Obribwai and Coast and the invisible forces will come and attack people at the police station, and we'll clap for them for attacking us. They will shoot people at the police station, and we'll clap for them for shooting us, just like they did in Ayawasu West Wagon.
Right. So
that is not happening again in this country.
So
what Bernard Mona said is that if you oppress, we oppress you. If you suppress, we suppress you. If President Akufo-Addo thinks that he can use the Ghana Police Service to intimidate us, to cover us into silence, into submission, so that we kowtow to the idea of rigging and stealing the mandate of the people, they should forget it. Because we are enjoined by the law to protect the sanctity of our democracy. And that is exactly what we are doing. No single person will be disenfranchised without his choice.
Thank you very much, Ernest. That was the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Peter Otikono. So, as you can see behind me, quite a number of them.
And of course, my colleague Chrissy Parker-Wilson is on the ground there, following that walk or that protest, if you want, by the Inter-Party Resistance movement against the coalition of a new voters register, which Bernard Mona leads. He is the chairman also of the PNC, and of course enjoying some solidarity there from members of the NDC. You had the Deputy General Secretary Peter Otikono. Well, today the Electoral Commission has begun the piloting of the voters registration exercise. My colleague Maxwell Ababa has been about some of the centers, and of course we'll bring that to you. We'll tell you what has been happening there, if they are adhering to social distancing protocols. Meanwhile, the Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs Minister Kofi Jamesi has been outlining guidelines for the resumption of activities by various religious groups following the easing of some restrictions by President Akufo-Addo. Let's hear him break it down for us.
Christian, Muslim communities and all other religions are to observe the following strictly. Some Christian bodies worship on Saturdays and others on Sundays. The Muslim communities generally observe worship on Fridays. From Friday, 5th June, the government will begin stage 1 of the process of easing restrictions, and a format for religious services can commence, and all worshippers entreated to dedicate their first service for the prayer for the nation in this challenging time. 25% attendance with a maximum number of 100 congregants can worship at a time in a church or in a mosque with a mandatory 1 meter rule or 3 feet of social distancing between congregants. In addition, all congregants must wear masks at all times, wash hands with soap and running water, or rub with alcohol-based hand sanitizer before entry. Avoid handshaking or body contact. Register details including phone numbers, manually or digitally. Digital registration can be done on GH COVID-19 app, on Panabio's app, which can be downloaded at no cost. Ensure no mask, no entry policy. Provision of hand washing facilities with running water and soap and or FDA approved alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Provision of adequate waste management facilities, bins, cans, bin liners, and single-use tissues. Provision of adequate toilet facilities for use by members. Regular cleaning and disinfection of frequently used communal places. Designate a holding room or area where a person who becomes sick at the premises or at an event can be isolated from others while making arrangements for evacuation. Regular disinfection of venues used by churches, preferably once every month. If possible, avoid confined air-conditioned rooms. Form COVID task force comprising of members who are preferably health workers. The COVID task force should call 112 or 311 for support to enable evacuation if anyone develops fever, cough, and difficulty in breathing during service. All who speak and sing in churches, including pastors, Sunday school teachers, singers, and announcers, must wear face masks during service. Spend at least 5 minutes of church time to educate church members on COVID-19.
Now, queues have formed at various registration centers as the Electoral Commission kickstarts compilation of the new voters register. Now, this follows the easing of some COVID-19 restrictions announced by the president. My colleague Maxwell Aduba has been out and about at some of the registration centers. Here's what he found. Apologies there. We'll bring you that insert from Maxwell Aduba. He's been interacting with the Greater Accra regional boss of the EC, as well as some people who were at the centers this morning to register and go through the process. In the meantime, the impact of COVID-19 spans many spheres of the economy, resulting in unemployment and slowdown of businesses. Many institutions have had to change their mode of operation, lay workers off and venture into other areas of business in order to stay afloat. Now, in this story, Prince Apia looks at how COVID-19 has affected churches.
The coronavirus is affecting the church in a great way. It's like having a company. You are running the company, and for 2 months, you don't have any income.
Pastor Ransford Obeng is head pastor at Calvary Charismatic Center in Kumasi. With a congregation of about 3,000, the church's economic fortunes have dwindled as group worship remains on hold due to COVID-19.
We have more than 15 security officers. They run on shift. We have a media session where they are full-time workers. We have our account office where we employ more than 5 people at the account office. We also have people who take care of the compound. It's another thing. Some of the pastors have given a wrong impression about the church, thinking that every offering and every tithe that comes go into the pocket of the pastor. It is not true. So if no offering is coming, how can you send this person home saying that I don't receive an offering?
With a staff of 120, the church pays salaries of about 120,000 cedis every month. This is in addition to an annual maintenance cost of over 200,000 cedis.
We have over 120 people that the church every month give them something. So if for 2 months the church is not running, no income is coming, what do you do with these workers?
CCC, like many other churches, is feeling the effects of the pandemic because economic activities have slowed down. Businesses that rely on the church to survive are all reeling under similar situation due to church inactivity. Ban on social gathering also means no programs, and by extension, no or little outdoor or mass media advertisement. Anita Kuma is the chief executive of Hype Advertisement, who says churches constitute about 70% of outdoor advertising contract and revenue.
So we're losing rent money for advertisers who would officially rent our boards. We're losing designing money. We're losing lots of money because now people are not advertising, people are not renting the boards. Most of our clients who are pastors, we have schools who would come to us for design works are not coming.
The churches also work closely with printers. For the printing industry in Kumasi, for instance, the church is next to schools in patronage of print services. Peter Insia is a printer at Amekum.
Taking the Catholic Church, for example, they do a lot of printing. When we take the Jehovah's Witness, for example, in the Methodists, their hymn books, their weddings, their funerals, programs, the posters, everything. The church helps the printing industry a lot when we come to printing. Yeah.
If you're ranking the institutions that give you a lot of jobs, where would you put the church?
As we put the printing of schools materials at first, then I hope the church will come at second or third. Even there are some pastors who have printed a lot of books. For the money, you can't quantify, but it's a lot. We are losing a lot from the churches because of this pandemic.
The contribution of the church to the local economy extends to taxes. Over 100,000 cedis of pay-as-you-earn or payee tax was received this time last year. But as at March this year, not even a quarter of that amount has been paid. Samuel Sechidodo is Assistant Commissioner for the Ghana Revenue Authority in Kumasi.
Some also written that they either closing down or temporarily closing down or waiting for federal government directives before they can. So we shouldn't wait for their taxes because that they don't intend coming to pay. Significantly, it's over 100,000 here in my particular office. They paid something significant, but this year they haven't paid a quarter of it yet.
It is obvious the impact of the COVID-19 has been devastating. Like many businesses and churches, CCC won't be able to pay salaries for the next 3 months if the restrictions persist over the period.
In fact, we can go up to 3 months because we are now using our reserve money that we saved for emergency. But how long can you go if you have no income coming in?
It is therefore obvious that the church also contributes significantly to the local economy, and the impact of the COVID-19 is seriously affecting them as well. For Joy Business, Prince Apia reporting.
Now, still on COVID and its impact, you may have seen the devastating impact on Ghana's industries, social lives and personal grooming standards, but it is also prompting an outpour of creativity in other areas. Now, from hands-free door openings to Veronica buckets to basic ventilators, the COVID-19 pandemic has ushered in a new era of urgent innovation in Ghana. The Cape Coast Technical University is taking advantage of the groundswell of technological creativity with a COVID-19 inspired solar hand washing prompting machine. Richard Kojinako has more in the following report.
The world continues to battle with this coronavirus pandemic. People are exploring innovative means of fighting this pandemic. And one such innovation is what we have here at the Cape Coast Technical University. A young man has come out with a brilliant idea, a prompter of a sort, that as soon as you enter into the building, it will prompt you to wash your hands thoroughly before you gain access to any of the officers here.
Smaila Abubakar is the innovator.
We are all fighting the coronavirus together. So I sat and I thought about something. I said, no, I can also do something to help in a way. The shower prompt, is the short name, and then the full name is Solar Hand Washing Prompting Machine. It's in 3 phases. We have the prompting aspect, we have the security aspect, and we have the touchless aspect. The security aspect stops you from entering until you perform all those protocols, and then the prompting aspect prompt you, welcome you, prompt you to observe all the necessary protocols about the COVID-19, and then the touchless aspect allow you to go through all the procedure without touching almost anything at all. So,
Vice Chancellor of the Cape Coast Technical University, Professor Joshua Dansu Owusu-Sechere, who also went through the newly installed system, explained the university was ready to commercialize the innovation to many establishments and institutions across the country.
We're willing to go all out. This is the first one, the prototype. You've come to see it. I'm sure the whole country will see what has been done. And we're still waiting for people to come in with orders for the contraption. So we're ready to go all out. I think it should go nationwide. In every building, we need to have the contraption in there.
The inventor, according to the Vice Chancellor, is also coming up with an air conditioner that is able to kill COVID-19 virus.
He's thinking about coming up with an AC which is able to kill COVID, the coronavirus. So in interaction, you go into an office, you're speaking, and droplets come out of your mouth, but as soon as they come out, the AC will have something built into it which is able to kill or disable the virus. And I think that's going to be something huge. When it builds there, I know not too many people would want to change their ACs, but we'll look at how best we could incorporate that contraption to existing ACs.
I'm going to go through this door and see how it works with the one who invented this one. So you're walking into the system. What happens? Okay, so here we are. I mean, there is a beep sound.
That's it.
So what will happen?
So as I told you earlier, it consists of 3 sectors. That is 3 different units. So the security unit is the stoplight that is stopping you from entering this gate.
Okay, so if I don't wash my hand,
then you go, it will continue beeping, and it will draw the attention of the security personnel that you didn't perform the priority. This unit is the prompting unit. This one is the audio and video. That is the audiovisual version of the whole project. It prompts you, welcomes you, prompts you to observe, as you can hear speaking about how you have to observe the necessary protocols. So I'm going to go through it. And this is the touchless unit. The touchless unit, anything that you do here, you are not supposed to touch anything here. So as
for the first one,
you go for the soap. You go for the soap. So as you can see, yes. So the moment I come to this place, I'll take my
without touching it.
It's touchless. So you are not supposed to touch anything here. Assumption is you have to wash your hand underwater for at least 20 seconds. Maybe you are carrying the virus. Maybe you didn't wash properly. So the dryer. We are also told that the virus cannot stay under temperature above 80 degrees or something like that. That is what we learned from the health experts. So coming here to dry your hands, this thing is even about 90 degrees. So the assumption is that even if the virus doesn't die here, the moment they get to this place, they will die.
Very interesting innovation there, the Ghanaian can. Now, family members of the palace worker who was murdered at Bintri in the East Mamprusi municipality of the Northeast region have made a second call for those responsible to be brought to justice as they mark the 5th anniversary of the tragedy. Aremayao Nasigi, the late personal secretary to the chief of Bintri, was assassinated in cold blood by 2 unknown gunmen who attacked him at a drinking spot on the eve of this year. The 35-year-old man was shot multiple times at close range by the attackers who were riding on a motorcycle, according to police. Ilyasu Tanko has more in this report.
Mother of the deceased, Hajia Rebecca Dongi, said the family has more than enough evidence which show the gunmen who carried out the attack were hired from Boko in the Upper East region by the suspect the police discharged. According to her, her son was attacked and killed for his role in helping the Bintiri chief to fight robbery and smuggling in the area.
So big bow, but Tabumani Yipalo. He be an imbang, Zalawan Nangmatiswa, Asia, Bumi, Yatoa, the Maki Kuparangia. Wanya Hali Pupuniri, Dabayua, Pap into Baba Quaki, never me, Yatoa, having to walk where you. One will see Lala. I mean, Prince Mabutumara Batuma, low man will see Lala to Kotombang. Kabanya, no, the coronavirus, Biene, Kawura Kababashi, Kabana Biene. The Wilson one man like Kabayi Umbai.
A senior brother of the deceased, Alasan Nasigiri, condemned the police decision to release the suspect without the involvement of the court and said the family was losing confidence in the ongoing police investigation.
Frankly speaking, it's like the family is losing trust. Yes, the police are not active. The suspect was arrested, and then it was like because of the coronavirus, they cannot keep him. They remanded him. So therefore, they release him. He is with us again, and you see how far we can, we can feel seeing him. But that is not, for them bailing him, it was not a big deal. But some few days later, some people robbed in that same vicinity. And it's like 4 of them, one was shot dead, the three of them, they brought them and they are in police custody. So why is it that he cannot be put under police custody? Is it not the coronavirus that we are still living in? So how come? Is it that the law is favoring some people, or the president directive is favoring some people? I don't get it.
Another brother, Nasigiri Sunday, also called for justice after rejecting police explanation that the suspect was released from custody due to the coronavirus pandemic.
That it happened, the police are not saying anything to us. It is only at times we would rather go to them. And at times, when the time that they were about to even process the case to maybe like the court, the statement was not even there. They have to even call someone who is in charge of it. And the way the person sounds to us, this is not the first case of the suspect in the law court. Now, what the people are saying, that the person is saying that even if it is law, there is money. And now it is money, which money is doing everything now. Money is working, not anything. If, let's say, the truth is there and there is money, the truth cannot act. The person is there, they're bluffing. And now we have patience to follow the law. But the way things are moving, it is not doing anything. We are in the family here. None of the police service will normally come to us to even say anything. They should have even called us to give some statement to them so that they will react on nothing, unless we would rather go. You see all these things. We are all in Ghana. What happened to me one day, if we don't protect it, it will happen to you. So what I want is justice. Even we have big men, all of us. What happened to us? If it happened to them, how will they feel?
The 7-year-old daughter of the deceased also called for the arrest and prosecution of her father's killer. From Nalirgu for Joy News, Ilyasu Tanko.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Freight forwarders say they expect improvement after challenges with clearing goods at the ports. The Ghana Revenue Authority has promised to quickly resolve the challenges after several importers failed to clear their goods on Monday as the new customs management system for trade facilitation, that is UNIPAS, took effect yesterday. Take a look at the frustration there yesterday.
When you go to the grounds, it is not working. People are sitting in their offices. Just don't know what they are doing. Do you understand? So whatever he came to tell us, or whatever he's saying, it's just a mere rhetoric.
Was the scene at the Tema Port yesterday. Northern Akwaheford is public relations manager for Ghana Link Network Services Limited, technical partners to the Ghana Revenue Authority's Customs Division. He is assuring freight forwarders and clearing agents the glitches will be fixed.
When it comes to the implementation, obviously I am not the implementing agency. That is the Ghana Revenue Authority having the powers from the government of Ghana.
With your support,
that is the
right?
position of government. I am a technical partner who is providing a solution.
But then there are technical glitches, aren't they?
Come again?
But there are glitches now, and so as a technical advisor, what would you ask government to do? That you fix the glitches and go?
You know, there are problems comes at every new stage when you have new systems that are happening. Trust me, the point is, what is the speed with which you're able to resolve these issues? And that is what I have explained to you, that we have put men on the ground who are resolving these issues one after the other. Any challenge that, these feed forwarders or clearinghouse agents are bringing up.
So you are promising them speed, is that it?
Come again?
You are promising them speed in dealing with the current challenges, today's challenges.
I can assure you, Daryl, that as I speak to you, in the long room, we have our men there. A great support center. There's a phone line that people can call if they have issues. We have put a rapid response team further in case they even have to come to your office to help you.
And we've got our eyes on the situation at the ports for you today. Now, in other stories, the Nara Rural Bank in the Upper East region is considering interest waivers on loans for some of its loyal customers. Manager of the bank, Samuel Namog, says although a decision on that is yet to be arrived at, the bank believes that such a move would help keep the businesses of customers afloat in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. Correspondent Albert Sori has more.
The Nara Rural Bank Limited prides itself as the bank for the ordinary business person. The bank currently has 7 branches located in 5 districts of the Upper East region and considers the most basic customers as an integral part of its operations. In the wake of the coronavirus pandemic and its ripple effects on the business environment across the globe, Nara Rural Bank is adopting innovative ways to stay in business. Manager of the bank, Samuel Namok, says, in line with their customer-centered principles, the bank is considering interest waivers on loans for some of its loyal customers.
We will be taking a look at most of these indicators that are affecting businesses. But what we have taken is that some of our customers who have overdue loans outstanding for a very long time have written to the bank, pleading that if there could be interest waiver on some of them. And we have gone ahead to consider in that direction. But we have not come out categorically to make a clear policy that we are going to reduce our interest rate by a certain margin. Liquidity has been a bane among the rural and community banks. And for you to do certain things, you need to do financial analysis, projections here and there, before you can be able to come out with these ideas and submit to your board for consideration for approval.
He said, government needs to give serious consideration to the rural and community banks as it disburses the stimulus packages meant to support businesses and industries hit by the coronavirus pandemic in Ghana.
And that's it for business. The news returns after this week.